Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Rebuilding Stockport, the analysis days, the end of season 9. It's been about 5-10 minutes. I've just gone outside, have a drink, just settle down after what we've just witnessed, or what you just witnessed a couple of hours prior. I can't believe that. I cannot believe that's just what happened. So, here's how it's going to work in today's episode. Going to go through the other leagues and whatnot. Someone said, can I do like a where are they now? The thing is, where are they now? They're retired. That unfortunately, that is the problem with this save, and I don't know why. I know that, like, even players that we released when we were in, like, the championship are retiring, and it's just like, come on. Like, that, surely they could sign for a lower league side, even if the league isn't turned on, they could still sign for them, surely. But there you go. Bit annoying. So yeah, there's not really much to show on that. So we're going to go show you through all the other leagues, not just in England, but all the other ones I've got turned on so you can actually see them properly, because I know I forgot to do it this time. Then I'm going to take you through the individual players so you can have a look at those guys as well. We can talk about that, and then we'll do the usual stuff that we like to do as well on top of that. So... oh yeah, and I have a suspicion that PSG may have just done an unbeaten season, so more on that in a minute. So we already know what the Premier League looks like because I showed you that. We're going to the Championship now. I know for a fact that Craig Palmer is the second highest goal scorer in the league, and I mean by that, like, joint top. Leeds beat Burnley in the playoff final. At least we're getting a full, complete view of it here. Craig Palmer, 22 goals in the league this year in 40 matches. He is a beast, genuinely. Next year, there's definitely a place for him. I can't see how there wouldn't, but then again... we'll see. I really do like Craig Palmer a lot, and that transfer value as well of £17 million. It does make you wonder if you need the money. Anyway, who else is coming up with? So Watford and Ipswich Town. That is incredible. That's genuine. They've been mostly a third tier side throughout this save for the most part, from what I remember. Yeah, I'm not even going to say it. You know what I'm going to say. Yeah, look. For the most part, they've been bashing between third and second tier. They were promoted. Last year they came 21st and survived, and this season they have been promoted to the Premier League. That is top work from Ipswich Town there. Burnley, Leeds, and QPR and Derby County were also in. Their Crew did get relegated with John Okoro on their team, unfortunately. Birmingham go down with Millwall. That was quite a tight bottom there, wasn't it? Oh, Jesus. Portsmouth do stay up. Bury, again, for the second season in a row, have survived in the Championship, so mad props to Burnley. Brentford came 7th, and I feel like Craig Palmer is almost entirely responsible for that. They very nearly got in the playoffs, and God, he could guide a team. If he was playing for someone like Watford, the amount of goals he'd be banging in is outrageous. League One, how we doing here? Lads, League One is a bit laggy at the moment, actually. That's very, very laggy. So Fleetwood beat Bradford City in the final. So Fleetwood go into the Championship next year, along with Middlesbrough and Nottingham Forest. Not a huge shock there. Lincoln City, Wigan, Shrewsbury and Walsall. So Wigan going down to League 2 now. That is bad for them. My lord. This Bill Kerr dude certainly got a lot of goals for them, doesn't he? Right, down to League 2. I think that's the highest league I've actually got turned on in England now, just to save on processing time, because believe me, it gets a lot. Forest Green going into League 1. They beat Stevenage in the final. Swindon and Rotherham and Coventry going up with them as well. Down go Mansfield, and now Fylde have been relegated out of the Football League. Oh, Fylde. That's such a shame. Well, you know what I was like with Fylde when they were in League 1. They only just got relegated from League 1, and now they've been relegated from League 2. That's such a shame. Obviously, the arse just fell out of them. Can't explain why. I don't think I have this league turned on anymore. No, I don't. But as you can see, coming up this season is Notts County, Wrexham, and Boston United, lads. Right then, here we go. Boston United have just been promoted to the Football League. So hopefully that'll please some of you guys. I know we've got some Boston fans in the comment section. So, right, let's move on to the other leagues. See if I can figure out how to get to them. Just basically, I think I usually do it through Leagues in Focus, I think. Oh no, I tell you what we can do. Just do it from this menu. Makes more sense to do that, doesn't it, really? So there we go. Let's go to League. God, it takes so bloody long. There you go. Whoa. Holy mother of Christ. Okay, so Paris Saint-Germain win the league by 22 points. Don't lose a single game all season and get 106 points. That's mental. Look at this. Look at this. It's embarrassing, really, isn't it? Monaco and Lyon get into the Champions League. Marseille, Nice, and Amiens, who, well, let's face it, most of that was probably because of Jamie Lane, get into the Europa League. Down go La Havre, Dijon, and Strasbourg. So that's kind of interesting there. What about the second tier in France? I don't know much about this, really, so it's hard to tell whether there's any surprises packages or not, frankly. My God, this is slow. Toulouse and Nantes are in the playoff final. Reims and Nîmes coming up. Down go Bourges, Pironas, Clermont Foot, and Tours. Wow, I swear Tours are normally balancing top flight sometimes? I don't know. Maybe I'm making that up. So that's France. Germany, Hamburg and Holstein Kiel are actually battling to try and stay in the league. Greuther Fürth and Dynamo Dresden went down. Leverkusen win the league this year. At least there's some variation in Germany. Bayern comes second. Dortmund there. Stuttgart also qualify. Hertha, Wolfsburg and Schalke. Any surprises in the top flight there? Not that I can really see. Let's check out. I wonder how St. Pauli are doing. Hopefully they're doing okay-ish. Let's just see. There we go. Of course, yeah. Sandhausen and Preußen Munster are, of course, doing their stuff. So Köln, Freiburg coming up. St. Pauli, they barely survived relegation. Arminia Bielefeld and Hansa Rostock going down into the third tier of Germany. Right, on to Spain and Italy. And Milan actually win the league. It's mostly been Milan and Juventus. Oh no, Roma did win it in the first year of this save, which is pretty awesome, I've got to say. Roma always been my soft spot team in Italy ever since I went there when I was like 13. Lazio coming second, with Juve coming third. Napoli also getting in there, Inter, Roma and Atalanta getting the Europa League spot. So basically nothing changes in Italy in terms of the teams that are actually up there anyway, that's for sure. Down go, Salernitana, Calcio, Sassuolo going down, and Frosinone as well. Have a look at the second tier in Italy, see how many teams are actually left in it. Provercelli and Cremonese? Yeah. Perugia and Cittadella. I know I'm butchering these, obviously. Why are there 19 teams in this league? It all seems like a bit of a mess to me. I assume that's because someone dropped out, but Juventus under 23s. Oh, I didn't know they did that in Italy. Well, there you go. You learn something new every day. So there you go. That's Italy. Now, finally on to Spain. And in a surprise to no one, Real Madrid win the league. Barcelona comes second. Sociedad actually getting third is pretty dope. Hello, I've seen something surprising there. So Atletico fourth, Valencia, Sevilla, and then Real Oviedo getting into the Europa League. That's pretty damn cool. Deportivo La Coruña going down with Girona and Huesca. Any surprise packages in the top flight? Not really. Osasuna are back. I think they were relegated a few years ago, weren't they? So there you go. That's how the other leagues look. Now, let's take a look at the squad itself. Just going to start with Pedro, really. It makes sense to start here and kind of move on from there. In the Europa, I mean, look at that. 30 goals and 15 assists this season. That is an unbelievable amount of goals. Him and Jamie Lane, even if he goes in the summer, then we're going to have someone who I think is slightly better than him, probably, to step into his place, and will have an inordinate amount of money. I'd honestly rather him not leave. I would love to have a left side of Lane, Pedro, and Miller available, because then we'll have basically no worries in that position for the entire season. Morgan Roussel. What can I say about this guy? I did just try to give him another contract, but this is starting to feel he deserves a new contract. I literally, not 2 weeks before the Liverpool game, tried to offer him a new contract, and he said he wasn't up for it because other clubs were interested in him. Let's try it again. Oh, hello. Bye-bye. Oh, my God. Can we get him down to a backup? Amazingly, yes. Okay. That's interesting. Might be able to take a bit off of his wage in the near future. I know this is probably going to look bad. Let's see if I can suggest this to him. Please don't. Oh. Key thing is, though, I'm prepared to give him more money if it means that we can... I would probably rather do this when I'm not on camera because I could concentrate on it a bit harder. But there you go. Morgan Roussel, new contract, release clause gone. I think being in the Champions League next year has made a huge difference to that, because I feel like Morgan Roussel is our brightest prospect at the moment, and if we can get rid of his release clause, firstly, it'll probably mean he'll stay for the summer anyway because of a new contract, but also it means if he does go, it's going to have to be for moon money then, and I'm prepared to pay a lot for that, frankly, because we've got a shitload of money anyway, and I'd rather invest that into giving some of these guys new contracts, because this guy is crazy good. 17 heading, 15 marking, 14 tackling. He's still got a long way to... He's still only 19 years old. Amazingly, no French caps yet, despite his unbelievable season. Look at that in the Premier League. A 7.36. A goal, 3 assists. His tackling is... He's just an amazing player, and I really hope he stays for the long term. So I'm glad we've had a chance to tackle that. Stephen Shanahan has been out on loan at Sheffield Wednesday and has actually done really well this season for them. I keep seeing him in like Player of the Month polls, so there's that. Abdurazak Slawi. Yeah, I'm a fan of this guy. I think he's been a good signing for us this year. He's done a better job in the midfield in that position than anyone else we've had there before him, I feel like. 4 goals, 4 assists in the Premier League, but he does so much more than that. Like, he wins a lot of fouls, it feels like, which is nice. Greg Stubbs, well, what can we say about Greg Stubbs? He has started a grand total this season of 2 actual competitive games for us, when that was 2 Carabao Cup games and he played crap. Checkatrade Trophy, started 4 games, played like crap. Comes off the bench in a Europa League final and scores 2 goals. I mean, the statue might as well be being built already, quite frankly. To be honest, Greg Stubbs is my new hero based on that alone. That's incredible. Carlos Toril has obviously been on loan at Villa this season and barely playing. Julio Vigo has done fantastically out at Makata Honda, as you would have expected. I've just applied for a work permit for him again, and unfortunately it's been turned down again. So there's that. I don't know. It's frustrating, but we'll just have to accept it. Wilson, doing well, but I do think he might lose his place in the first team squad next season, depending on how things go. But if we were to move him on for big money, that could be definitely something we could look at. He's worth £23 million at the moment, so that's more than we paid for him. Zé Maria, his contract is actually up in the summer, and I feel like I might just let him move on, quite frankly. But he's done well when he's been brought into the team, frankly. He's done all right this season. I can't criticise him on that one. And Abasolo, what a season he's had. 14 goals in the Premier League, 5 assists, 2 in the... And overall, 45 appearances, 19 goals, and 11 assists is very, very strong. I'm still thinking, though, that if I can find a better right-sided winger, I might well go in for one and try to move Abasolo on, perhaps. Then again, he is a rotation option, so I might not mind being a backup player, to be honest, because I do feel like we could definitely do a bit better, particularly in the crossing and dribbling areas. I feel like there's better players out there than Abasolo, particularly if we can make loads of money. Remember, he cost us 1.7 million. David Akwebu, still developing nicely. He's got a long career ahead of him. He's played less games this year than he did last year, but I still feel like he's got a lot to offer. 2 goals, 3 assists in the Premier League. He's got some free kicks in his game, and that's done him really, really nice. Despite only having 13 free kicks, he has scored a couple this year. Josef Bajsa, still only rated 3 stars in this team now, worth £30 million. In the Premier League, 15 goals, 3 assists, overall 53 appearances this season, and he scored 24 goals. He's basically, let's just compare him to his other seasons for us in the league. So he's basically a 15-goal-a-season striker. It's basically, first year he got 14. The last 2 seasons he's got 15 in the league. A few less assists this year. He's pretty much a 15 goals a season in the Premier League kind of striker. And I feel like if we really want to take this to the next level, we need like a 20-plus goals a season in the Premier League kind of striker. That's what we really need to be looking out for. Bajsa is a fine player, he is, and he's worth £30 million, which really does help, particularly as he's going to qualify as homegrown soon. So I think there might be a lot of clubs that could be after Josef Bajsa, particularly when that one ticks over, considering he cost us, £500,000. Camille Bednar, my man, still developing nicely, doing a good job. He's had a lot of injuries this year. That's kind of really stunted him. Only 20 Premier League appearances, but he got 8 assists from that. The guy is completely fantastic when he's on his game. There's nobody better on that left side. I'm fairly prepared to say that. El Chobova, he's developing nicely, and I'm sure he's only going to continue to get better. No goals or assists. Oh no, he got an assist in the Carabao Cup. He's done all right in the Europa League. Premier League, not quite so much. I still feel like he's a solid player, but I want to tinker a bit more with the role of that player, because I think we can maybe get more out of it by not having them as an anchor man. So we might have to look into that. Regan Booty has obviously been on loan at Sheffield United for the second half of the season. He might potentially leave in the summer, particularly if they want to put a bid in and it's got good money. Nemanja Boskovic, he's been on loan at QPR all season, has done average, I suppose. Bruno Bridges, he did play 2 games off the bench in the Premier League, so he has still played in the league every single season so far in this season. It's his lowest performance season, but he has still played for us at least. It's fair to say. Only 5 appearances and 5 off the bench in the entirety of the year. Got 2 assists in the FA Cup, though, which is kind of nice for him. 26 years old now. Come on, get your testimonial out, Bruno. I don't think it's this season. I think it's the season after. He has asked to leave, but I've told him that, he should stay, and he's dropped that, so that's kind of good. Moving on, Daniel Christensen. Completely even forgotten about him. He's on loan at Reading. How's he done this year? He's done all right, actually, although the average rating would suggest otherwise. So I'm guessing his defensive output, or he's done something wrong, that's for sure. Not doing so great there, really. Andy Davidson, not played a lot of games this year. 16 games, 7 off the bench. Still done well when he's been forced into the team, though, to be fair to him. He's a stalwart. He's been here for quite some time, in fact, hasn't he? This is his 6th season at Stockport. He's played for us since we were in League One. And this is... Actually, he's played probably better this year than he did last year. So, to be fair, that's not bad, Andy, on that one. Leander Dendoncker, not much to say about him. I brought him in just to sort of pad out the squad a little bit. Ivan Dimitrov, this year's had a bit of a weird one. He's been good in the Europa League, very, very good, and his 2 assists in the final were crucial to us winning the entire thing. So, still pleased for the guy, but I feel like ETS might overtake him next season in terms of preference, because he's actually got something to offer. He's on a new contract too. Milan Duran, we don't really care about him, although he has done well, that's for sure. Charlie Dyer, he's played a few times for us. He'll probably want to leave again in the summer, and if I can move him on and maybe get even more money now, then I'll be happy to do that, of course. Emre Şimşek, this is a guy I brought in on a free transfer, I think, from Juventus, but there was no work permit available, so I'm just trying to move him on. That was a silly decision. He's not on a huge amount of money, so it doesn't really matter. Eric Thompson Svenningsson, a lot more to come from this lad. I feel like he's had a really, really good season. Like, it's fair to say. 12 starts overall, 9 off the bench, 5 assists so far. In the Premier League particularly, he's done a stunning job. He really, really has. And in the FA Cup too. He's just been a really good player for us. Corbinian Gadais, how many goals has he got? So 7 starts and 24 substitute appearances. So he's mostly been played off the bench. He's got 3 in the Europa League, 3 in the Premier League, some assists in there as well. He's going to take a while to get up to speed, but he is still only 19 years old, and I feel like there's more to come from him. You know, maybe a loan spell next year, particularly if we're going to bring Craig Palmer back and we've got new guys coming in. I don't know, we'll see. John Gray, completely forgot about him. He did even play a couple of games in the Premier League for us earlier this year, the Irish 25-year-old. Now, I probably will try and move him on in the summer, perhaps, particularly as, again, more money. But if someone comes in for him, then I'll be prepared to look at that. Callum Gribbin, his contract's up in this summer, and yeah, he will be leaving the club. He's not played a single match for us in any capacity. No one wanted him on loan either, to give you an idea. Guthella has been out on loan, of course, at Lautaro. John Hume has done well. Well, we showed you John Hume at the start of the last episode. Liam Hunter, he's played a few games this season. He's still got the potential to do well. It's just we don't really have a place to put him. He really needs to get himself out on loan for a season to try and pick up a little bit. Ronald Kipra has been out on loan in Poland for 3 years now. Kit Kat, I totally forgot he even existed, is on loan at Stoke. His contract, I think, no, he's still got some time left on it, amazingly. Valentino Lazaro obviously doesn't belong to us. Cardo Makengo, what a man. This guy's been really good for us, considering that he's been mostly a backup. But when he's been called upon, look at that. A 7.71 in the Europa League from games he's played. Fair play to him. David Mello on his new contract. I think he's had a solid year for us. 3 goals, 2 assists in the Premier League. Not amazing, to be fair, but maybe he's still coming into it and he's improving as a player. So that's the main thing. Liam Miller, of course, 27 years old now, still worth £30 million, got 2 years left on his contract. I mean, this season for Miller is outrageous. It really is. 20 starts and 22 appearances off the bench, and he's got 27 goals. That is outrageous. 4 starts and 5 appearances off the bench in the Europa League for 10 goals. Premier League, 11 starts and 13 goals. He is the ultimate super sub player that can just come on and do things for you. And when he starts games, he can come in and do things for you. I never want to see this guy leave the club. He's been absolutely incredible. 196 appearances for the club. I think he's our record appearance holder at the moment, since we started this save anyway, and probably the top scorer in that period. He's not far off of getting 100 league goals, and I feel like next year he probably will be able to do that. Louis Molden, he did play a couple of games this year, and he actually got a clean sheet in one of them, so fair play to old Louis, old bag man. Still got some more time left on his contract, but interestingly, his value has dropped off quite dramatically. John Okoro is on loan at Crewe, 1 goal, 8 assists whilst out on loan at Crewe Alexandra. 150 appearances for us as well. We don't know what to do about old Johnny. He's got a long time left on his contract, so we'll see what he's up to in the summer, I think. Obviously, we've got Guard Dog. Since he's come in, he's been absolutely outstanding, to be fair. 10 appearances in the Premier League, and he's averaging a 7.5. That is insane. And in the Europa League, a 7.2 is pretty damn good too. To be fair, Guard Dog has been a much better signing than I'd anticipated him to be, in all honesty. He's been fantastic. Craig Palmer, everybody knows Craig, and we're back to Pedro. So yeah, that's how the squad is looking. We're already 20 minutes into this video. Christ on a bike. Let's get into the team stats. So average possession, somewhere in the middle. Not too surprising there. Penalties taken. We've had a few penalties this year. 5. It's not too bad. Southampton not doing so well on that one. Headers won. Ooh, sort of middle down. We have won the most headers overall with 63%. And that's what matters to me the most. We have got a bit... Wow, Southampton are a dirty bunch, aren't they? Christ. We're still struggling on this one, to be honest, but I don't know. Other than staying on feet, I don't really think I want to do that just yet. Maybe when we start to dominate, perhaps we could start to get away with that. 5 red cards for Palace. We've had 2, so we've got to be careful on that one. The form is irrelevant. Top goal scorers, 85 goals in the league. We've finally got to that point now. We've really pushed forward in terms of attacking this year. I think we got 60-something last year, so we've really extended that, and those extra goals is what's really done it for us. Cross completion, 16 is not bad. Crosses completed, we're up there, which is what I want to see. Goals from corners, middle of the road on 6. It's not bad, but it could be better. Goals from direct free kicks, we've actually scored the most in the league. To be fair, that's saying something. 8 times we've scored from direct free kicks. That's mostly Pedro, but a couple of ones from Akwebu in there too, to be fair. So fair enough on that one. And we've been good at scoring them. Pass completion, 79. It's not too bad. Passes completed, Stoke. Wow. They are playing it around at the back a lot. Chances created overall, we created 80 chances this year. That is sensational. Shots on target ratio, 49%. We like to be up top. Shots on target overall, we're up there too, which is what I like to see. Conversion rate, 14%. That's more like it. God, remember that was down at like 6 at the start of that season, and I couldn't figure out why. Well, we fixed that, didn't we? Jesus. Fouls against, we never do well on that one, do we? Dribbles per game, we're up there at least. That's what I like to see. Defensively, 5th best defense in the league, 41 goals conceded. I think last year it was 49, so 8 less conceded. I said I wanted to try and get under 40, but we've done pretty close to that. So more goals scored, less conceded. You can't really ask for more. Conceded from corners, wow. We've been really good at defending corners. Literally, I think it was 1 against Southampton and 1 against Newcastle, but they came in close proximity, so I was like, oh crap, it's happening. That's impressive. Conceded from direct free kicks. Yeah, we're a bit lower on that, but it's still only 3 from the direct ones. It's the indirect ones where I think we kind of struggle a little bit. Yeah, 5 on that one. It's not the end of the world, but it is frustrating when you see them happen because some teams are conceding none, and it's because the AI just seems to be able to hit those balls to the far post that we cannot seem to defend against. Clean sheets. 14 clean sheets. That's bloody fantastic. Right up there where we want to be. Fouls made, we're pretty high on that one. Tackles won, not too bad. Tackles won ratio, 86%, very nice. Penalties conceded, only 3. Bristol City conceded 12 penalties this year. No wonder they've struggled, although they have stayed up, to be fair. Average attendance, 19,000. Average attendance by capacity, 100%. Stadium sellouts, we've sold out every single home game this year. I think I need to talk to the board about extending our stadium, because that's 19... They're going to have to do something here, because we're not making the most of our revenue. Lowest attendance was still the lowest, but net transfer spend, we're up there, I would have thought. No, we're not. We've actually earned £2 million, I think. I think that's what that means, yeah. I think we've... Or is it the other way round? Have we lost? That's still not bad, is it really? Salary per annum, we're still 17th overall. That's insane. £50 million a year we're spending, and we've come 3rd in the Premier League. Now, I do quickly want to see if I can check with the board, see if I can get them to expend the stadium now while we're thinking about it. Finances, decrease, that's not too bad. Nothing needs to be done there. Stadium. Build new stadium. Come on. What are they thinking? Oh, damn! They've accepted it! Oh, man, it's actually happening, lads. I didn't expect them to go for it. That's mental. Let's just see what this means. Board plan to build a new stadium. Board have announced plans to build a new stadium, and they're in the process of searching for suitable sites and possible investors. The main reason behind the decision was that Stockport need to accommodate bigger crowd due to the high demand of tickets. Yeah, we're sold out every home game. The board have however pointed out that it will not be a smooth process. It will be some time before any plans can be finalised and put into action. Nice. Okay. Wow. Okay. Very pleased to announce the plans are afoot to build a new stadium. It's anticipated that it will be finalised by... Oh, ages away. 26,000 to start with. I'm sure we'll have an expansion capacity. Yes, lads, we're getting a new stadium. So, I'll obviously ask on the proper episode too. Let me know what you think. Serious suggestions now. What the stadium should be called. Our brand new Stockport Stadium. Let me know in the comments. Oh, mate, I'm excited about that. Right, let's get back into this. I'm glad I thought about doing that, actually. That's really cool. Right, so player detailed. This one's interesting for me. Appearances, we don't care about that. Yellow cards, we'll probably have a couple on here, I expect. Yeah, Bova and Abasolo. Interesting. Arthur's been sent off 3 times for Liverpool. Naughty, naughty boy. Player of the match awards, of course, Pedro's up there, but Liam Miller's had 4. Average distance covered per 90 minutes. Anyone on there at all? David Mello. He gets about. Average rating. Pedro's in it. But look at that. Sloughy, Abasolo, and Morgan Roussel. We had 4 of the top 5 players. Durand and Miller were in there as well. That's crazy. That's actually really, really cool. 4 of the top 5 in average raters in the league, as well as 7 of the top 12. Headers 1. Wow, that's impressive actually for Pellegrini. Shows how good he is in that area. Good lord. So Pedro's up there too on that one, of course. Bison with 15, Abasolo 14, and Miller 13. We've had 4 players in the top scoring charts. Minutes per goal, of course, but Liam Miller's up there too, which is sensational. Shots, Jedson Fernandez. Well, we know he's got an absolute cannon on him. Pedro doesn't even shoot as much. That's what really impresses me. Bison's had the most shots on target in the entire division and has only scored 15 goals from that. Like, this is what I mean. I feel like if he was just a little bit better, he could have been... The chances were there. Shots on target percentages. Come on. Abasolo 68, Bison 59, and Miller 53. So, but Pedro does take the free kick, so that kind of sways there. Abasolo, really good. Those are some John Okoro numbers. Conversion ratio, 23%, Miller 20, Pedro 20. Gustavo Gomez is a crazy good player, as is Barry Shields of Huddersfield Town. I've had a look at him before. He is a very, very strong player, but he is only 5'9", and we need tall strikers, really. Team goals, Bison and Wilson, 82 goals they've been on the pitch for. Penalties, Miller, I think, has scored a few, as has Pedro. Assists, Pedro's up there too with 9. Camille Bednar with 8. Nice to see. Key passes. Anyone on there at all? Sloughy, 51 key passes. I figured he'd be up there. Pedro doing nicely too. Abasolo, even Josef Baez has got a few. Chances created. Pedro, 15 chances created this season from Pedders. Well played. Pass completion. I don't think we'll have anyone on there at all. No, we don't. That's fine. Cross completion ratio. No one at all on that one too. Dribbles per game. And Abasolo, 1.74. Interesting on that one. Tackles per... Wow. Tackles per game. Elcho Bova, most tackles per game of any player in the Premier League. He is doing work, lads. Bednar up there too, as is David Mello. They work hard, these guys. Mistakes leading to goals. No one on there at all. Mistakes, we're going to have Bednar on here, I would imagine. Milan Durand. Okay, interesting. Key tackles. No one. Key headers? Come on. No one. I guess it's because we moved our centre-backs around so much. Interceptions? No one. Headers won ratio. Durand, 83%. He's won a lot in the air. Both at 81. Makengo, 81. That's interesting, actually, to be fair. Shots blocked. Not that important, I suppose. And goalkeeping? Well, I mean, Wilson, 41 goals conceded this year. Clean sheets. Wilson, 13 clean sheets. Saves held. I mean, he hasn't had to make as many saves, I suppose. He's still done well this year, it's fair to say. Right, let's move over to the actual analysis stuff now. Okay, so, yeah. For the most part, I was going to do the thing where I remove some of these guys from it, but frankly, all 4 of these guys have played games. Dendonka has started there a couple of times. We're just going to ignore him for now. Solar hasn't actually yet to play a game for us, and obviously there's Shimshak. He's irrelevant right now. So, centre-back analysis. Pass completed. Morgan Roussel, not bad. Nos, decent. Carlo Makengo, decent. John Gray, you could see, is just not abject at all. He's pretty solid, but it's worse than the others. But it shows that, you know, Guard Dog has come in 17 appearances, and he's fitted in completely fine with everybody else. He's stacking right up nicely there, which is what I want to see. Passes completed by that period. Again, he's not far off the pace. Again, Gray is. Team goals per 90 minutes. So we score more goals with Gray on the team, but that's not really that important to me. Key passes is always interesting, but never huge differences, to be honest. Makengo plays a few more key passes. Team conceded per 90 minutes. So again, Gray, we can see way more goals. And again, Guard Dog, we conceded the least goals per 90 minutes with him in the team. It's negligible, but he's really putting in a shift. And also, tackles won ratio. 96% of his tackles have been won. The other two are both on 87, which is solid, but 96%. He is really, really putting in a shift for us since he's joined the club. He has been fantastic. What other areas is he going to excel at? He's got the most interceptions, albeit just slightly, but he's really sticking out to me. Headers won. Makengo, 75. He's equal or better in most of the stats than the others. Now, again, it could come down to opposition, but he's played 17 games for us now, mostly in the league and in the latter stages of the Europa League against really good teams. He has been phenomenal. What a signing for £6 million. If he keeps playing like that, I can see no reason. And remember, we've got Maya coming in as well, so we'll have a real fight for positions in our centre-backs next year, which is going to be good. But what I will say is that I'm happy with Makengo, Guard Dog, and Morgan Roussel to be our 3 centre-backs. Plus, with Julius Maya, I don't think we need to find another centre-back in the summer. We've got Philip Sola as well as a youngster coming through. I don't think signing a centre-back in the summer at all is really worth doing. Or signing another one anyway from where we got. So we've got that £77 million to spend. I might still look and see if I can find an amazing keeper. But I feel like the Romanian lad has got that room to grow, and I'm prepared to give him a chance in the team next year, frankly. So I don't think we need to really invest it there either. This is what this episode is going to be about. Where do I invest this £77 million? That's what we're going to be trying to find out over the course of this video, in all honesty. Because at the back, I'm satisfied with the way these guys have played. Really, really satisfied. So let's move on to the fullbacks. Okay, so fullbacks, we've got some interesting stuff. Apologies if you can hear a vague whining in the background. Someone is vacuuming out their car, and it's too hot in here to not have the window open. So hopefully you can't hear it because of the mic sensitivity. But if you do, apologies in advance. So we've got a lot of comparisons to make here. We've got 3 on each side, in fact, which is very rare for this kind of situation. So we've got Sveni, Dimitrov and Bednar on the left, and Bruno Bridges, technically, Lazaro and Durand on the right. I feel like Durand should dominate these guys because Lazaro has mostly played further up the pitch. So, in fact, just looking at Lazaro, how long has he actually played in that position? He's played 9 games as a right back and 25 an advanced midfielder. So we can kind of ignore the Lazaro ones a little bit, particularly as he's a lone player anyway. But anyway, let's see. Assists per 90 minutes. Lazaro obviously the most, which is fine because he's obviously would have been that player. What I would say, though, Bruno Bridges has got more assists per 90 minutes than Milan Durand. He's played a lot less minutes. Durand's played over 4,000 minutes this season, so I guess there's that. Camille Bednar, you can see, is definitely better, though, than Dimitrov and Svenningsson. But Svenningsson he's not too bad. He's certainly getting closer. He's outdoing him in that one particularly, but Bednar, we already know he's a better player, frankly. Chances created per 90 minutes. Svenningsson actually does better on that one. That's interesting. He really is doing well. Bridges, again, outperforms Milan Durand. Okay, interesting. Bruno coming back in this one again. Pass completion, of course, Bruno Bridges has the highest pass completion, just ahead of Durand. And Thompson Svenningsson actually has the highest pass completion on the left-hand side. He is putting his name forward, it's fair to say. Key passes per 90 minutes, quite important this one. How are we doing? Svenningsson again, 1.35. Again, outdoes Kamil Bednar. Insane. And again, Bruno Bridges outshoots Milan Durand. Bruno, when will you learn that you... it's incredible. There's a reason why he sticks around at the club, because he can do it when he's asked. Frankly, maybe we should have just gone with Bruno Bridges in the league this year, but I felt like we needed someone in there, because I couldn't trust him in Europe as well. Then again, he's done all right in Europe for us, to be fair to him. So, Svenningsson, again, fantastic. Dribbles per game. Dimitrov, good. Svenningsson does lack a little bit on the dribbling, but he's not far off. Durand does outdo Bruno, but it's about bloody time, frankly. Shots on target is kind of irrelevant. Cross completion, Dimitrov, 24%. That is insane. Svenningsson, Durand is actually better than Bruno, but he's not much better. Dimitrov at 24. That is really, really high. No wonder he's got 6 assists, but then Bednar's got 10 assists in literally the same number of minutes, so Bednar's still definitely turning into things quicker, that's for sure. Tackles won ratio. Milan Durand, 86%. Bednar, 83%. Now that's an issue. Svenningsson down at 70%. He is fine going forward, but he does seem to lack a bit of the defensive side of the game. I'm not sure. Let's see if we can figure out why that is. So his heading is only 9. Marking's 12. Tackling's 13. He's not bad, really, is he? But he does definitely seem to have a bit of a lapse there. His tackling is much, much worse than anyone else, really, in the entire team that we've got listed here. Headers won. Thompson Svenningsson, 87% of his headers have been won. So he's winning a lot of these. Maybe he's just cutting them out in the air. Like, when you look at his interceptions, again, he dominates that one too. So maybe he's not having to make the tackles, but when he is, he's not doing a great job of it. That's the only thing I can really think about with that one. Bednar at 60% headers won, and Dimitrov at least is winning more. Bednar is not exactly a tall man, it's fair to say. I'm still pretty happy with these positions, to be honest. Like, on the left, we are stacked. We're stacked with Bednar, Dimitrov, and ETS. I feel like they're all young, relatively. You know, Dimitrov's 24, but Bednar's 21, and ETS is 19. There's plenty of room for them to grow still, particularly Bednar. I'm content to... We don't need to sign another left back. If I found an amazing youngster, I'd maybe bring him in, but it's certainly not an area of concern for me. The right side is, again, a simple situation. So Durand and Lazaro will both be gone in the summer. Bruno Bridges will, of course, be staying. So I am going to have to look for someone. But again, I'm probably just going to get someone on loan. There's a guy from Wolfsburg who I've been looking at who... Yeah, we could potentially sign him, but it would cost us 100 million. But I think we might be able to get him on loan next year. It's called like Louis Schroeder or something. And he would probably be very good for just another season until... Because I think it's 2 years that it's going to take us to get Julio Vigo's work permit and whatnot, unless something changes in the meantime. So we'll probably need to just sign a loan player there, because I don't want to be buying a massive player for that role when I know we've got someone awesome that's going to be joining us soon. And he's been racking up the goals and assists and general good play, playing for Makada Honda. So yeah, again, I don't think we need to strengthen. I think the defence is fine, particularly with Julius Meyer joining us too. I think the defence is, once again, completely fine by me, in all honesty. So let's move on to the defensive midfielders. Interesting one, this. Okay, so DMs were really... I mean, Dendoncker has played the vast majority of his games, has played, when he has anyway, has been played in that position. And, you know, Dyer's got a reasonable amount, so we can definitely have a look at, see how he's performed over that period. So passes completed. Bova and Dyer have done a decent job between them. So basically dead heat on that one. And frankly, look at that. That's basically the same. Key passes per 90 minutes. Dyer does actually seem to have a bit more of a key pass, but he is more of a central midfielder come DM. So he's more... looking forward, frankly. That's just what he does. But then again, Bova does link the play up nicely, so there is that, though. Tackles won, though. This is where things start to get a bit more interesting. Both at 93% tackles won ratio is fantastic. That's what I want from a DM. He's like a pit bull, and he's younger as well. So I feel like that's where he really does excel. I can settle for him not playing as many key passes if he's winning so many tackles. Interceptions, slightly higher. Key headers, again... He's winning way more headers than Charlie Dyer too, which is surprising when you consider that Charlie Dyer is 6'2" and Elcho Bova is 6 foot tall. So he's 2 inches shorter than him, but he is winning 10% more headers. Has he got better jumping reach? That would be a bit weird if he did. 13 jumping reach. Charlie Dyer's 15 jumping reach with his 9 heading. Maybe he's got better heading stats. 8. So, frankly, Bova's just outperforming Dyer in every way there. Maybe he's stronger, I don't know. But that's quite important, the fact that he's done that. Now, we actually can see more with him in the team, but it's so little that I feel like Bova could be our defensive midfielder for years to come. He's still only 20 years old. He's already racking up massive defensive numbers, and I'm totally all right with that. But not only that, I feel like if we could tweak the role he's playing a bit and might be able to free him up to be a little bit more expansive. Like, he can play anchorman, that's what he does, but he's got a bit more ability about him to maybe... I don't know, do we want a Segunda Volante back there, or would that cause us more problems? Because he'd be trying to get forward a little bit too much and kind of the exact opposite of what we want. Or should we actually, let me know. Do you think we should stick with Anchorman for Elcho Bova, or do you think there's another position that might suit him slightly better in terms of role with what we're doing? Maybe if it's ain't broke, don't fix it type of situation here, perhaps. So there is that as an option too. But that's really all I can say about this. I'm completely happy with this situation. I feel like Bofa is good for a first choice. If Dyer doesn't leave, then he's a suitable second choice. Maybe sign a youngster in this position to go further forward. But unless I find an absolute world beater, again, money, I don't really think it needs to be spent in this particular area. Our defensive side of things has been improved. And year upon year, without even making any signings for a lot of the time, the defenders are just getting better. That's the great thing about having a young team, is that you get that little bit of improvement each year upon year. So we'll move to the centre midfielders now. So these are the guys that have played the most minutes. Maybe Booty played at the start of the year, I don't really remember. So John Hume, Andy Davison, Sloughy, Akwebu, and of course David Mello, who actually played the most minutes, interestingly, and all of them are 23 and under, which is very, very nice to see. So now we've got to compare mainly Hume and Mello on one side, Akwebu, Sloughy, and Davison, although Davison's played both roles, to be fair to him, so we can sort of look at them on both ends of it. So goals, John Hume, way out in front on that one. Way more goals than David Mello in terms of his minutes played. 3 goals this season for John Hume, despite only starting 7 matches. That's not bad, actually. And he also got an assist for Greg Stubbs' goal, the winning goal in the Europa League final. So fair play to him on that one. You can see he dominates the assists one as well. John Hume is making a case for being included in the definitely a first teamer next year. There's no doubt about that. And again, I think we're really good in this position too. Because Akwebu, he can sit behind Sloughy. We've got backup. We've got a first choicer in Sloughy and Mello in theory, but right behind them we've got Hume and Akwebu, who are both fantastic young players, and an Andy Davison as a third choice who can play in both of those positions to a really, really high level. We are fantastically stacked in this position too, I feel like, because not just in current ability, but when you look at the potentials of most of these guys, that they're really, really good and young, and there's a lot more to come from them, I feel like. Pass completion, John Hume's is the lowest, but they're all above a reasonable standard. He still links up the play nicely. Chance creation is a little bit low for John Hume, and Andy Davison really does know what he's doing there. That's fair to say. Crosses is irrelevant. Passes completed per game. You can see who plays where, can't you? Akwebu really knows how to complete passes when he just racks them up when he's in there. He and Sloughy dominate that one. John Hume does seem to play more key passes when he's a box-to-box midfielder, though. He's got that in his game, which is nice. Tackles 1 ratio as well. Akwebu, 92. Sloughy at 86 is fantastic. John Hume certainly gets about a bit. I think in the air, he's probably going to be dominant compared to the others as well. Headers 1 per 90 minutes, 3. And Andy Davison's always been good in the air. Headers 1 percentage, yeah, it's the same kind of story. John Hume is excellent for just being a little bit of extra height in the air, but it's good from set pieces too, when he's not taking them, that is. When he can get in there and use his height, we don't concede that much with John Hume in the team either. Like I was saying about how he is just a great man to kill off a game. What more can I really say about this? I know I'm just going through saying things are great, because they are. We've got a stacked set of players. They're all relatively young, lots of room to improve. They're worth tons of money. They've all got reasonably good personalities, either determined, balanced or professional. Lots of determination in all of them. And they all look fantastic. And John Hume is just continuing to surprise me. And again, if I see we've signed that the Romanian guy again to add to this. We'll actually have a 6th guy that can play in that position, which is great, because next year, we're fighting on the same 4 fronts, but we'll have a lot of room to rotate these guys around, and they're all completely capable of doing a job for us, and they've all got above 7s over the course of this season. Andy Davison, Sloughy, both above a 7.3, Akwebu a 7.1, Mello and Hume both on a 7.02, just dipping a little bit there, but they've still done fantastically well. Mello's got those range goals on him. I'm super happy. So far, I don't feel we need to really be bothering with spending loads of money in the positions that we've got to. So it has to be strikers and wingers where the money's going to be going this summer. Let's check out the wingers. Okay, so winger analysis. So there's obviously Miller versus Pedro on one wing, and Lazaro, Zé Maria and Abasolo on the other wing. Now, obviously, you've got to understand that some of the players will have played more in certain competitions and whatnot, so there is definitely that to take into account as well. One thing I am noticing, though, about our wingers is that the age is definitely higher overall. Miller's 27. We've got 30-year-old Lazaro, although he's on loan. Zé Maria's 28. Pedro's 24. Our youngest player in the entire wing role is Ander Abasolo at 22. So definitely worth looking at that. Goals per 90 minutes. Miller actually has more than one goal per 90 minutes. Pedro up there too. Abasolo dominant in that position on the right-hand side with his 19 goals this year. Miller slightly above Pedro, but again, he has probably played predominantly against weaker opposition. But it's nice to see that he's certainly keeping step with him every step of the way, and that's fine. And he's going to have even more competition next year with Gemlen, as someone told me to pronounce Gemlon. I don't know, actually, something like that. But I'm just going to call him Jamie Lane because then he sounds like a relative of Superman. So that's good on that one. Assists generally come from the right a bit more. Zé Maria, miles out in front. He's got 6 assists in only 5 starts. But Lazaro's done nicely on there too. Pedro's done all right. Abasolo, the lowest on that side, interestingly. So, this is why I feel like someone on that right-hand side might be an option. The left-hand side, again, I'm totally happy with. Pedro, Miller, and Lane. Those 3 are going to be just fine for next year. No problems on that one. It's the right-hand side that I'm really interested in. So chances created per 90 minutes. Lazaro, Pedro up there too. Zé Maria. Miller actually the lowest on that one. But this is what I mean. He is very much more of a scorer than a creator. Although he has got 8 assists this season, which is not bad. But Pedro's got 15. Then again, Pedro's still better in terms of the creativity side of things. But Miller's just a goal scorer. And if Pedro could shift that bloody PPM, I feel like he would be having 40 goals this year rather than 30. Because you see the runs that Miller makes. You know if Pedro made them, the ball would be there for him. And, what a lovely time it would be for all to behold. So there we go. Chances created overall, we don't care about that one. We're more interested in the cross-completion ratio. Zé Maria at 19, 18 for Pedro too. Abasolo at 16, Liam Miller the lowest there. So again, Abasolo's numbers are still solid, but I feel like if we had someone that's getting like 18, 19 perhaps, like Zé Maria, then maybe we could just have those few extra goals ground out. Passes completed, much for muchness really. Abasolo again the lowest on that one too. So again, he's struggling a little bit. He does hit a lot of shots on target though, to be fair to him. He knows how to hit the target. 62 is great. Miller always does well, 58. Pedro down at 50, but I believe that's because the free kicks going off target kind of has an effect on that one. Shots per 90 minutes. Liam Miller, bloody hell, he shoots a lot too, which I think is definitely a factor in him getting those goals. He just shoots loads, it's fair to say. Player of the Match awards, obviously Pedro, but what I'm looking at from this is left side is fine, it's the right side. Lazaro's leaving, Zé Maria's leaving, which means we're left with only Ander Abasolo really, and then John Okoro comes back from loan, so we'll have Okoro as well. I think money in the summer wouldn't be a bad idea to invest a decent chunk of it into a new right winger with blistering pace, great crossing and dribbling to really take things to the next level. Good finishing too, though, because we rely on goals there too. So with the right kind of PPMs, I feel like we could maybe find someone like that, and that might be I feel like the only position next that I really want to strengthen is striker. So even if I invest 30 million in a new winger, I'm prepared to do that, quite frankly, even if it's more than that. Like, I don't really want to spend too much money, but if we can and find someone that's perfect for the role, I'll happily splash 50 million on them. There's a guy in Brazil that I've looked at, but I don't think he'd get the work permit, which is the problem. I think it's called like Zandro or something. He's really, really good, but he won't join us unless we can get a work permit for him. And I couldn't convince him to join us before I tried it. It was pretty cheap. It was only like £12 million. So that's something we definitely need to look into. Right-sided midfielder, very much an issue for us. Not an issue. It's very, very good, but I feel like it could be better. And I'm trying to eke out marginal gains, So let's have a look at the strikers anyway. When it comes to strikers, all we're really comparing is Bajsa, Gaddis, and Greg Stubbs. And Greg Stubbs has only actually played like the equivalent of 3 games in total. But we'll still look at him, of course. He's still an important player and he's got that potential. So, it's still worth a look. I don't understand why they've judged Joseph Bajsa's potential so early. He's only 21, but they seem to be pretty certain that he wasn't going to get any better. So, goals per 90 minutes, he is the lowest. Gaddis has a little bit more. But again, they've mostly been substitute appearances. But it's still worth noting, though. He's played 54 games this year, Joseph Bajsa. He has really put a lot of a shift in. 9 assists as well. But again, competing Gaddis, look at that. The thing that stands out for me about Gaddis here, sure, he's got more goals per 90 minutes, but the real killer here is he's got 6 assists. That is insane. Like, that's really what I want from a striker, is the ability to do that. And the fact that he's got 6 in that period, where Bajsa's only got 9 in 54 matches, suggests to me that Gaddis is probably the man later down the line for this job, because he does have that ability to link the play up better. He's got the ability to set people up and put people in, and that's what I want from a striker. And yeah, that's definitely something that's standing out to me here. Baisa's got goals in his game. I wish he had more, but Garais might actually be a man for the future there to really take that role to his next level. Chances created again, Stubbs and Garais dominant in that one. Cross completion, Garais outdoes Baisa on that one. Passes relatively similar. Key passes, Baisa does make more key passes. Shots on target, Garais is matching him basically. Like 59% and 60 is basically the same. If Garais just keeps working hard, and remember, he's got 2 years on him as well. So there's that. Hits the target a reasonable amount too. Doesn't win as many headers though. That's what I would say. Garais is not the tallest. He's only 5. Oh, what we're talking about? He's 6'2". Need to work on that a little bit there, mate. 26% headers won. It might be because of the types of games we've put him in. I don't know, but that is definitely noteworthy. He dribbles nearly as much as Josef Baisa as well. I mean, I don't know. I feel like if someone came in for Baisa, I certainly wouldn't be against moving him on, but I am going to look for a really, really good striker in the summer. And we've got the Victor Roos joining us as well, remember? The young Belgian, who's only 16 and already has some of the stats that could rival some of these guys. But what this is showing to me is that Corbinian Garais, despite not looking great at times, I think given a run of games in the team, he might actually be able to do a really good job for us, in all honesty. Next year, he's starting in every single cup match for us, that's for sure. And he'll probably get a lot of league appearances too while we rest people for the Champions League. But it's definitely interesting on that one. Obviously, big money. So this is what my conclusion is at this point. Right winger, striker. Big money needs to go into those two positions, I feel like. And the rest, it's a case of if you find any youngsters, then brilliant, you know? And remember, we've signed a striker for reasonable money, but I mean like a striker who's good now, like a 23, 24-year-old who's really coming into their prime, you know? So that's kind of where I want to go with that. Now we're coming to the end of it. Let's go and look, see if I can find myself. There we go. Word of the day. If you've reached this point in the video, drop the word Humenn, Humenn, in the comment section. If you want to know what on earth that is, it's a company that makes replacement bands for Fitbit watches. And there's a packet for one of those sitting on my desk at the moment. So that's what we've gone with. Right. Ah, goodness me. I am knackered right now. I've got to edit these videos now. I'm still sort of anxiety hangover from the cup final there. So, yeah, if you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you have, drop a like on the video. That would be fantastic. If you're new, subscribe, and I will join you guys tomorrow for transfer goodies. Let's see if I've actually managed to sign a striker and a right winger. I feel like the right winger is definitely achievable. Striker, they're obviously more difficult because they're so hard to come by these days, it would seem. So, I'll see you guys soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.